Hey, Ute fans, you're watching The Extra Point, presented by UteFans.net and sponsored by Public Coffee. Come to any Public Coffee location today to get the best cup of joe this side of the Wasatch Front. So obviously, guys, tough loss yesterday in the Rose Bowl. Los Angeles has been heartbreak city for the Utes. Cal, your first impressions of the game?
Hashtag I'm mad, fire everybody. And now that I've said
Overreaction
now that
Sundays.
I've gotten that out of the way, I would like to take full and sole responsibility because I was not fundamentally sound yesterday. My pursuit angles were way off. I didn't yell loud enough to cross state lines, so I will totally shoulder this. But in reality, DTR is the real deal. We had questions going in how our defense would respond to such an athletic quarterback from week one. Yep. But you look at the tell of the tape, and it tells a different tale. Like I mentioned last week, stats are relative. And if you look at the stat sheet, it looks like a pretty even game. We witnessed something completely different. I have my thoughts on that, which I will get into later on, but I'm curious as to what Jordan thought about yesterday as well.
Yeah, I think, stats are totally relative. Agree 100%. I think the score actually shows a lot closer than what the game actually dictated. And like we've talked about in previous shows, anytime that you lose the turnover battle, you're going to have a tough time, especially the situation in which both turnovers happened, right? Cam throws an interception in the red zone. He fumbles on 4th and short. If he holds on to the ball there, we go down and score. There's maybe 4 or 5 minutes left with all 3 timeouts and only down 3. So there's a lot to dissect there that we'll dive into. But, at the end of the day, you tip your cap to UCLA. They played a good game, a very clean game, and it showed.
Former Ute coaching the defensive line for the UCLA Bruins. Chad Kaha, congratulations to you, sir, former teammate of mine. I was wondering, everybody seems to be mentioning that the defense seems slower than molasses uphill in December. Like they were a step behind, that they weren't getting their reads, like they were lost kids in the woods. Whenever you play an option offense like that, when it's a quick fire, downhill, pitch man responsibility, a la Air Force in the Mountain West and the WAC conference, you are forcing individual role players to make decisions, and that's what you want is for them to have to think. Yeah. It's usually an A or B, and if not, then C type of reaction. Mm-hmm. And you don't have a lot of time to coach for that or prepare for it. When we would play a heavy option team like Air Force, we would take 2 weeks prior to start getting those reads. If you look at the isolated players yesterday, receivers ended up behind them because their eyes were staring in the backfield, guessing on their responsibility. And it's that small moment, and the game is fast, and it's that small moment of hesitation where they have to make a decision where they might be doubting their next step or they have to think and process that gets them in those situations. Chip Kelly and his staff, 8 years plus of NFL experience, of working together as well. We got out-coached on defense. We strictly got out-coached on defense because they isolated responsibility players, our DNs, our strong safeties coming up on the pitch and the force, and made them make decisions which made them hesitate, which gave them the momentum of running downhill.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think, too, Chip Kelly is known for, they play fast, right? So you throw in all that, and then you only have a couple seconds in between each play to revisit the practice from all the week, and that's what it does. He's had a lot of success with it.
And when you've got defensive players looking over the sideline for the call as the offense is hurrying and lining up, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yep. Obviously, not the outcome we were looking for yesterday, but as Jordan Wynn said, hats off to the Bruins. Yeah. They looked great. They played a clean game. They came in, they took care of business. They played with a chip on their shoulder, and you could tell.
Well played.
And so, we came into that game ranked 11th. They were 18th. All I heard Ute fans talk about and other fans of other schools was that UCLA hadn't played anyone, and they played Washington. They had that one good showing against Washington in the Rose Bowl, and that was it. Utah was favored by 3.5 points. Obviously, we thought we had this game, or a lot of fans did, and that's not what happened. I mean, the defense gave up over 200 yards on the ground, 300 in the air, 511 total, plus the turnover battle that we lost. So we can't expect to win with a performance like that. It's just not going to happen for just about any team.
Well, it's difficult to contain a quarterback because then you're outmanned. And we started to tap into that formula when we started to try to win off of Cam Rising's legs. Mm-hmm. I mean, we became much more productive on offense when Cam started using his legs and running, and that's not a successful formula for our offense.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, that's the name of the game, especially in today's world. And, covering all 11, having to scheme for all 11. When I played, years past, before all these spread RPO offenses were out there, it was really the defense had 11, the offense had 10, right? I mean, you're relying on play action or something to account for that 11th guy. But, again, they did a nice job. One thing I'd like to see and just change or get adjusted, it just seemed, and feel free to chime in, but when they were down, when the Utes were down, they still just had, no urgency. Just whether it's the play call taking a while to get in, whether it's getting in and out of the huddle, but you're down 2 scores in the fourth with 7 minutes left. It's like, let's get moving here and get going. And again, they just didn't make enough plays to win the football game. And really, UCLA created explosive play after explosive play after explosive play, and the offense just really didn't. They were very methodical. Even at the end of the game, it was a very 5 yards at a time, 10 yards at a time, 8 yards at a time. It was never big chunk for 30 and then a couple. So you can't win.
And there were some obvious question marks too offensively, aside from what you said. And I got a text from Cal pretty early on in the game where it's 3rd and long. I think it was 3rd and 7, and we give the ball to Mackay. Great player, nothing against Mackay, but we're running the ball on 3rd and long like that. And I got a text message from you, and you're like, what's going on here? What's your explanation for that, Cal?
There was a couple of things that made me scratch my head, and I'm no offensive guru, but when you lined our boy Tavion Thomas up on the outside as an X-wide receiver and then shift him to the backfield in a 3rd and 7 and then hand it off, I think that you're trying to get too cute for yourself. And sometimes you can outcoach yourself. And that was that circumstance that I saw manifesting right there. We've gotten the slow start ghost out of the closet.
Yep.
We started with an explosive play of Tavion Thomas averaging 5 yards a carry or more. So it wasn't a matter of a slow start again. It was a matter of how we stepped up to the adversity, and nothing was clicking. And it's been a while since our defense hasn't been able to respond, and they bent and they broke.
Yeah.
And they bent and they broke. And in that instance, you need special teams to step up because it is a 3-aspect game. And the offense.
Yep.
Special teams was having problems. Kickoff coverage, they're returning average to midfield. We ended up in a hole, and we just couldn't claw our way out.
The kickoff was a glaring issue. I mean, you can't give those guys the ball almost at midfield every time they got it.
Agreed.
And then you look at, the last touchdown they threw, running that mesh, 2 shallow crosses coming across. It's like a rub screen in basketball. It's 2nd and 19 after a grounding. The guy catches it, and there's nobody there. So some glaring issues, no doubt, that need to get shored up because you got the number 6 ranked team coming in here Saturday night.
I have to mention something else as I was doing some prep for the show today. Read an interview in the Deseret News with Kyle Whittingham, and making a point here. It doesn't come down to one play. You never lose because of one play, is what he said in his post-game presser. And part of that was just one thing that we noticed was we had him towards the end of the game. There was it the 3rd quarter, Cal? It was 3rd down. We looked like we had stopped them, and then we had that penalty.
You're talking about the roughing.
That's right, roughing the passer. And we looked at that. You and I talked. We said, man, that's the play of the game. But is it really, though?
I wouldn't say it was the most glaring play of the
like
game
a turnover.
at that point.
It really was.
It was a crucial
like a
turnover.
third turnover.
It was a questionable. I mean, you hear these. I've been reading these people chastising this young man's decision. Yeah. I promise you, it was not a conscientious decision on the fly that he made and said,
I'm going to rough the.
I think I'm going to push him just to show him I'm tough. Yeah. It's the heat of the moment. We've all been there, just like the targeting that they suffered in the 1st quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, that was blatant.
Yeah.
But it's not like he went out, I don't think, maliciously. He's just been trained to play
it's fog of war.
Right.
Things happen when the bullets start. When the bullets start flying, it's the fog of war.
If we want to talk about mishaps of the game, I mean, how many drop balls did we have from people that you wouldn't expect to have stone hands in those situations specifically?
Yeah, we looked like we had cold feet. But you mentioned a minute ago, you alluded to Tavion having a good game. And so there are bright spots. There's a great article in the Des News yesterday about how Tavion Thomas was the bright spot yesterday. He looked great, and we might not have seen as much of him as we would have liked, but he had 91 yards rushing and a touchdown, and he also got out of the backfield and had some receptions as well. So we've been dying to see that all season, and he had a good game. I just have to throw that out there, that he looked good.
He runs harder downhill than a 3-year-old's nose with a cold. He was absolutely remarkable. It was fun to watch him do his thing, to get his groove back. And I wanted nothing more than for us to ride that workhorse to victory. and I was glad that he ended up being in the role that he did, and the reception too, the first reception.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the first time all season he got out of the backfield for receptions. So
Protected the football as well.
protected
Yes.
the football.
You know, it's always a question mark there.
The truth is Tavion Thomas is a real talent. We're happy to have him on the team. He's the all-time single-season touchdown leader, 21. So I think that's at least 5 more than Zach Moss. So, and like I said to Cal before the show started, he got most of those touchdowns in the Stanford game last year, right?
Splinter in the woods.
No disrespect to anyone there. I mean, no, Tavion's the real deal. And stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, Ute fanatics of Ute Nation, Cal the Rocket back here, reminding you that when you are looking for a blitz of energy or to even tackle your hunger, there is not a better place to huddle than Public Ed's Coffee House, located in the shadow of President's Circle. Go Utes and come get some goodness.
Welcome back, Ute fans. This is The Extra Point. I'm joined here with Poinsettia Bowl MVP, Mr. Jordan Wynn, and Freedom Bowl MVP, Mr. Cal Beck, the Rocket. So we are taking on the mighty Trojans of USC this next weekend. USC beat Washington State last night. It was a closer game than the score indicated, right, Jordan?
Yep.
So USC is a pretty good team. Obviously, they have Lincoln Riley this year, a hotshot coach from Oklahoma. A lot of players come through in the transfer portal.
They paid for him.
They paid for him. They're looking pretty good. They might not have as much cohesion in some ways as the Utes do, but it should be a good contest next week. Obviously, tough loss against UCLA yesterday, not what we expected. But how does Utah respond next week as USC comes up to Rice-Eccles, Cal Beck?
Characters defined by how you respond to adversity in times of inconvenience. And now that's that time.
Time to
the
find
target.
out.
The target is off of our back. We are now in the hunt. We don't have to outrun the competition now. We have to catch. It's time to eat.
Yep.
This is an exciting time to be a football fan, to be part of a team, to be a leader. This is when you start to define those bonds that either make or break a team. It's easy to be the front runner, and I will. Let me rewind a little bit and say I hate rankings.
Yeah.
I think they're garbage, at least until at least halfway through the season. All it is a promotion for them to make more money off of the TV deals and the matchups and to get you to feel like you can't afford to miss this game. Rankings are garbage, but with that said, I don't care what they're ranked. They're coming into our house. We are going to represent, and we got something to prove. And I prefer to be on this side of the equation than on the side of the equation we were at yesterday.
Jordan Wynn.
Yeah, obviously a lot to improve on, and like Cal mentioned, it's time to figure out what this team, how they want to respond. I mean, you lose Keithy, you lose a tough one this week, and you got the number 6 team in the country coming in Saturday night. So how do you want to handle this? Pressure's a privilege, and Utah fans are fortunate enough to be in a position and rooting for a program that's expected to win football games, which isn't always the case with a lot of other programs in the country. But, you look at SC, and, I mean, they got some world beaters on offense. I mean, Dye is an incredible player, was at Oregon forever, is now they're back. Addison is the reigning Biletnikoff winner. I mean, it's a tough matchup. I think it really comes down to can the defense get things figured out quickly after last week, and can the offense make enough plays? I will say SC, Utah's proven they don't start slow the last couple weeks. USC is still starting incredibly slow. They were only up 17-14 at half thanks to a late touchdown against Wazoo. If the Utes can get up on them, get the crowd involved early, crazy things happen in Rice-Eccles. This is a good team. Utah's a good team. Plenty to prove. Still a lot in front of them, too. Can they get into the playoff? They probably need some help there. Can they have another great year and go to the Rose Bowl? You bet, 100%. And so, again, it comes down to the leaders on the team. Where do you want to steer the ship? We'll find out Saturday night.
All right.
Circumstances dictate priorities. And this week will dictate what priorities need to be focused in the coaching room and Bloody Tuesday.
Bloody Tuesday will be very bloody after that.
Yes, a lot of donations are going to be needed. Donate blood, everybody, please. It'll be fun to see what boils down. I don't expect any tipping of the hand in Whittingham or any other press conferences or interviews. All of them are going to say we're 0-1, one game at a time.
Of course.
Whittingham's classic canned response is this doesn't affect our overall goals as of yet because the rest of the season has to be played out. So, I mean, it's going to be what it is. It's going to be a great experience at home. Quick question. Do you guys remember the highest ranked team that we have defeated in Rice-Eccles Stadium?
Was it Stanford?
It was Stanford.
2014.
Correct. Do you remember what
very
they,
good.
2013.
do
Very
you remember
good.
what they were ranked?
5.
Yes.
Wow.
We've done it. We've
the
been
Utes.
there.
Wow.
I mean, this isn't our wheelhouse. So, I mean, unless people are really upset that the Utes have already broken their long season parlay bets, you know what? We can all get vested. And remember that we're here as Ute Nation. We're not here as an individual. And that's what makes
Yeah,
Ute Nation so great.
Yep. 100%.
Jordan Wynn likes to refer to me as Andy Brown, the king of Ute fan lore.
Yeah.
Is that still true?
Yeah, no,
it's
clearly, yeah, pulling that one out.
So I have something to say here. A few things, actually. What I know is that we have one of the best fan bases in college football, I think. And
The country has spoken to that fact, too.
Yep.
Rice-Eccles is going to be rocking next week.
Better be.
And we're not going
Should
to
be.
care. Hey, you know, Rose Bowl's a tough place to play. UCLA is a great football team. I give them all the credit in the world. I really do. They deserve to win yesterday. But we can bounce back. We've done it before. It's kind of like we mentioned. And I think we have a good shot to take care of business against SC. And the other thing I should mention is what is so sad about what's happening to college football with realignment and we're going to go here because there's more money or this TV market, which is just totally lame, is that we would develop this really great rivalry with USC. You know, usually it's one of the games that is circled on the calendar every single year.
Usually decides the South.
Exactly.
Year in and year out.
Exactly. They're in the same division, you know, and we have some classic games with USC. 2016, you know, 2014.
Yep.
You know, 2018. So it's interesting. I should say something. When I was a kid, we played USC in the Vegas Bowl. It was 2001. Ron McBride was the coach. I believe we won the game 10-6. Pete Carroll said after that game, he said, USC will never lose to a team like Utah again. So I just thought that I'd throw it out there, a little smack for all the Trojan fans watching. You know a few of them yourself, you know.
The Trojans haven't been relevant since the Pete days. Let's just call it what it is.
Pretty much.
So,
Pretty
know,
much.
again, a really gracious, you know, early season ranking, honestly. I don't know if they would be 6.
Well,
If they started in the 20s, would they have moved? You know, they're undefeated. They're a good football team. I'm not taking away anything from them, but they have also benefited from a very, very high early season ranking.
Right.
And, hey, man, you better bring your hard hat when you come into Rice-Eccles. That's all that I got to say. You better pack your lunch. It doesn't matter what we've done. It's going to be loud. We're high up. This isn't Hollywood.
Agreed.
Let's see what happens.
The luster for USC has worn off for me extremely quickly, and now I relate my feelings towards them like New Mexico. Can't stand them.
Yeah.
I don't know if their ranking is overrated or if that's actually the best tax shelter for their players during their new NIL deals from the portal season.
They paid, what, $2 or $3
Hey,
million
I don't know how
for
many
Addison.
zeros are out there. I'm not
A
making
lot of zeros.
excuses. I'm just saying there's a reason why they open their bank accounts to fix the problems that they have.
Yeah.
They are not the perennial. They're not the Troy Polamalu team. They're
No.
not the Reggie Bush team. They're not the Pete Carroll team.
Nope.
And they're trying to get back to that.
Yep.
You look at it, the head coach change. You look at it, the athletic change. Something's going on. It'll be fun to watch it manifest itself on our field, on our terms. And it's time to lace them up and strap it up.
It's the ultimate flashy Hollywood sunglasses at the beach, LA, coming in here, workman-like approach. So pack your lunch. That's all that I got to say. And be ready for a fist fight, because that's what you get every time you walk into Rice-Eccles. It doesn't matter how many zeros you paid and who you got. You're going to get everything. And so I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see Rice-Eccles Saturday night. I'm excited to be there and tailgating. And looking forward. Hey, time to bounce back, like we've talked about on the show. Figure it out. Handle the adversity. What better chance than this, right? Instead of playing, you know, a non-ranked opponent, you get a chance to get this corrected really quickly.
absolutely.
Yep.
So we'll be right back for everyone's favorite segment, Stump the Utes.
Here we
Just
go.
A second.
Here we go. Wow.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
What do you think of that toast, Jordan?
The tomato jam goat cheese combo. Would never think of it. Mind blowing.
And if you like smoked salmon, you got to get to Public today. to try the Slock's toast. It's amazing. It's off the chain.
Kyle, how's that avocado toast?
Leave me alone. I'm busy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we figured.
It's that good.
Fantastic.
Come down to Public, try their coffee or their great food any day. Welcome back, Ute fans. It's the best part of your week. Stump the Utes
Not my week.
Stump the Utes on the extra point. I think I had a pretty good showing in one of our last segments. I knew that the highest ranked opponent that we beat at home was Stanford in 2013. Bubba Poole was the running back. Travis
Could have been
Wilson.
TCU, number 3 in 2010.
Yeah, but
That didn't end
what
well.
happened in that game? I can't remember. I feel like you would know.
Yeah, that didn't end very well.
Sounds
for
like
us.
people are shooting all over themselves.
That didn't.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
That didn't end very well.
I
for us.
threw out my Wounded Warrior. polo.
Myself included. Did not end very. That day was a bad day. You have a bad day at the office. You're allowed.
Yeah, that's true. You're
I had a
absolutely-
bad day at the office.
You're right to say that. So let's delve into some questions here from the legendary UteFans.net message board. First question is from New Bomb Turk, otherwise known as Wes. What coaches had the best and the worst winning percentages, minimum of 30 games coached? So the best one would be
Did
Oh,
Urban?
Urban didn't get to 30 games.
Did he? That's a good question.
It's 2 seasons, so he didn't get to 30 games.
Because
that's
he was
a good
02 and 03. That's
Yep,
it,
'cause it
right?
was only 2
And then
seasons,
the
so
04
yeah.
Fiesta Bowl was on his way out, so it wasn't
Right.
full season. Yeah.
that's a good.
Maybe Kyle then.
Cal?
Kyle with the.
I'd say Cal number 1, Cactus Jack number 2.
Gosh,
I don't know who has the worst.
I think I know the answer to that.
The worst?
Yeah, I think it's Tom Lovat. I'm pretty sure it's Tom Lovat. I'm
Lore legend. That's why. Andy Brown. There it is.
I'll be here for at least 15 more minutes, guys.
There it is.
I'm pretty sure. Gosh, well, we might have to check back on that one because Urban Meyer played 2 seasons. Or excuse me, he coached 2 seasons. First season, he won the Mountain West Conference Championship. He went 10-2.
Yeah.
Had lost to New Mexico and then Texas A&M, and then in 2004 it ran the table.
Right, but there's no way he played 15 games in a season.
Yeah.
Right.
So he didn't get to 30. So I think Whittingham's probably the all-time, right? If you're over 30.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
If you want to know the answer, tune into Ute fans message boards.
Yeah.
Andy will post it. The actual answers.
So let's see. Next question. Having a little bit of a
Could be Jim Fossil.
I was
doubt it,
gonna. Yeah.
but it could be Fossil.
Yeah.
Being on the low end.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Tom Lovat. I think he won like 4 games in 2 seasons or something.
So he might not qualify
So
for
he
30
may not
either.
qualify for 30 minimum either.
Well,
Tune in.
We'll have to check back with.
Great question. What Wes? I only know you by your real name
Yeah.
now. Sorry.
Knowing Wes, coached me in Little League from 12 and beyond,
Oh,
all
wow.
through high school. Not a surprising question from Wes. Thank you very much, sir.
So it looks like the lowest winning percentage,
Minimum of 30 play.
minimum of 30 games, is Tom Lovat. He won 5 games.
Wow.
Out of
You're like, did you
33.
ever watch that ESPN show Stump the Schwab?
Yes.
You're the Schwab for Utah
Well,
football.
That's what inspired this great segment.
Holy
I'm the
smokes,
equivalent.
man.
It's better looking.
You're the Schwab.
So,
Schwabby, what's the next question?
so Kyle Whittingham, turns out he has the highest winning percentage. A surprise to no one, 673. Urban Meyer had coached 24 games and he won 22 of them.
Non-qualifier
Yeah,
for
so
this question.
Yeah, we're gonna cut Urban out of this segment for
Wow.
sure. Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, excellent question. So moving on, Ute fans. Let's see. Okay, what's the name of the Utah running back who ran for 332 yards against UCLA in the Rose Bowl in 2016?
I know that one.
What is it?
He actually left the team.
He
and
retired.
Came back. Joe Williams.
Very good.
And I was on the staff. I was on the staff that year.
Yes, you were.
I've got a good question here. This is from Chris Renrut. Our last question was from LA Ute, and our first question was from New Bomb Turk. All message board legends. You know who you are. Name the Ute player who executed the original jump pass before Tim Tebow made it famous. He was coached by Urban Meyer. That's your hint. I think I actually know this.
I know
one.
it.
Do you really?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, who is it?
Ben.
Elliot?
No.
Ben Moa?
Yep. Correct?
Ring, ring, ring. Yeah.
Boom.
Well done.
I'm the Schwab.
No, that
Yes,
was
you are.
he did that that was I think we had like a double overtime game against
Yes,
Air Force
exactly.
in
Yes,
2003.
that's it.
And it was a direct snap to
Yep.
him.
No, yeah.
And that's how we beat Air Force that year. We were talking before the show about how we're glad we don't have to play Air Force anymore. Man, they were tough.
Always tough.
How do you trash talk to a player that's defending your country?
No, you.
I was like, sorry.
They hit you, and I'd be like, "Thank you for your future service for us."
Usually the least penalized teams because
Yep.
they're the most disciplined,
Yep.
and they play snap to whistle every play.
Here's the last question. This is a real banger. I'm not sure anyone's going to get this right. This is also from New Bomb Turk. I'm going to ask Mr. Jordan Wynn here.
I'm on fire. I'm on a roll
I
today.
think,
I'm on a roll today.
he might know. Who invented liquid soap
Here we go.
and why?
This is from Wes.
That's from Wes.
Wes. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who you're asking. William Shepard.
Because he got tired of putting the bar of soap in when he
Yeah.
would curse in front of his grandmother.
Exactly.
So
That
we'd rather
must be
sw-
it.
Yeah.
So
Wes,
anyway,
come correct next week with these questions.
yeah.
William
Wes-
Shepard.
Wes-
William
hey,
Shepard.
that's 2 weeks in a row we got Wes. So
Yeah.
this is Stump New Bomb Turk now. That's what we're going to start calling the segment. 'cause
Maybe
he's
we
not-
bring Wes on.
I
one
think
of
we
these
should
days.
bring him
Have
on.
him ask live.
So anyway, guys, awesome show today. Disappointing game against UCLA, but we're still Ute fans through and through. We're looking forward to seeing Rice Eccles Stadium next week to take on SC and hopefully come in with a win.
Yep.
And go Utes.
Get there early.
Go Utes.
Go Utes.
I'd rather just do it over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was good, Andy.
Yeah.
It's great.
Trying to make it simple. Oh, thank you guys.
Yep.
Appreciate it. You
You're
need all the
practicing
support I
in the
can get.
shower.
I mean, a lot of places, Cal. Yeah. All right.
Outtakes.
All right. Yeah. Bloopers. Okay.